to the chat instead of the Q&A if folks can hear me. All right, there we go. Okay. Thank you for being here, everybody. This is our first time using the webinar format. Certainly have participated in a lot of webinars, but this is my first time utilizing it. So thanks for bearing with us. I'm Abby Cameron with Three Rivers Community Foundation. My colleague Janet is on here with us as well. She's going to try and monitor that chat for anything that might come up in there that we need. We did ask folks to introduce yourself and what organization you're with in the chat, so pop in there if you don't mind. This shouldn't take your whole lunch hour. Thank you for being here. We should take maybe 20-25 minutes and then have some time for any questions you may have at the end. And we're just excited to share our annual report. It was released just a few weeks ago. We do an event with our donors and our fund holders every spring to release the annual report to them first. So if you were at that event, a lot of this will not be new to you, but we appreciate you tuning in. Janet is going to drop in the chat a link to a PDF of the annual report that lives on our website all the time, as well as the previous one. So if you're ever on the hunt for that, that's where you can find it. If you are interested in a hard copy, please let us know or contact us here at the office. We have plenty of printed copies of the annual report and would be happy to get one to you or pop one in the mail to assist you. So I'm just making sure that there's nothing here that I need help with. People are texting me. I think the chat is good. The chat is fixed. Sorry. It's a little distracting. All right, well, let's dive in. We're going to go through some of the highlights from our 2023 annual report. And as you can see, we're really, really happy to share that we are celebrating 25 years for Three Rivers Community Foundation. We were formed in 1999 by a group of volunteers who kicked this whole thing off. And it's been an amazing ride since then. So we're able to do this webinar today, and a lot of the activities that we do thanks to our sponsors. So I can't start without recognizing Washington Trust Bank and Moon Security Services for being our annual premier sponsors. We have just a few events and activities a year that are really important to us, and our sponsors help make that happen. And I'll kind of revisit the sponsors again later on as well. We also, if you know Three Rivers, we are a small but mighty team, and we would not be able to do the things that we do without our activated and motivated board members. So I really want to thank them. I know we have a few board members tuning in with us today. Thank you for being here. We work really hard to make sure that our board represents different parts of the community geographically, different industries, different circles of influence, so that we can both ensure the success of Three Rivers and that we can also make really good decisions when we're reviewing grant requests. So this board is very active and engaged, and we are very grateful for that. And we also always want to recognize that we have a class of emeritus board members. These are folks who made both significant leadership contributions and significant financial contributions to 3RCF. So we're really pleased to recognize them with emeritus status. So we're going to dive into that annual report. Hopefully you've had access to it. And I pulled out some of the slides and bits and pieces of information to share here with you today. This is slightly old news, but still really, really worth sharing. We like to make sure folks know that we are a nationally accredited community foundation. This is a process we went through in 2022. It was a many month long process. This means that we've been fully audited. It means that our policies, our procedures, our programs have been reviewed for effectiveness and impact. and that we are everything's above board, transparent, and we have full accountability here. So we're really happy to emphasize that anytime we get the chance. So what are the services that we are delivering that we have received that accreditation for? This is the work that we do throughout the year. So our suite of donor services includes pass-through giving, which is an option for folks who want assistance with their charitable giving or would like to be anonymous, or they would like us to contact the organization on their behalf and do some research or some follow-up. That's a wonderful way we get to engage with donors. We also have this ability to assist with qualified charitable contributions, our alphabet soup of QCDs and RMDs. Some of you are very familiar with this, but I'll just summarize to make sure everyone has the information. Require for folks who have IRAs and reach those magical numbers that the IRS changes every once in a while, ages of 70, 71, 72, you then are required to take distributions from those accounts. You have the ability to direct a portion or all of your required minimum distribution as a qualified charitable distribution. And doing that reduces your taxable income. Here at 3RCF, we can be an entity that you can direct your QCD to. And then the donor has a lot of options as to how to use that to fulfill their charitable goals. They could be pass-through gifts out to other organizations. There's also certain ways that those could be used to start a permanent endowed fund. So we love to share that with donors. It's a great way to build a legacy and invest in the community. And obviously legacy is a great big part of what we do. A lot of folks are generous enough to include 3RCF in their estate plans. They may also have some specific direction or goals as to what they would like us to do with that charitable gift. So we always encourage folks to notify us, and we love to chat with them about what their goals and plans are so we can ensure that we can meet it in the best way, in the most efficient way for that donor's legacy. And all of that work throughout 25 years has accumulated in the assets that 3RCF manages. So this slide shows our recent history, which I'm very happy to say shows a lot of strength and growth for 3RCF. At the end of 2023, we were managing just over $9.6 million in assets. That is our total endowment, comprised of the many different funds that individuals or couples or organizations have entrusted to us. Those funds are overseen by the board and our finance committee, and our endowment is managed by HFG Trust. So the health and strength of that endowment is what fuels our charitable giving and our grant making. So it's very, very important to what we do, and we are always honored and grateful for the folks who choose to invest in their community through adding to our endowment and creating their own fund within that structure. So a little bit about what those funds look like. These are the 6 different options for endowed funds at 3RCF. Endowed funds, as many of you know, are permanent funds that are invested to grow. We invest the funds all together in that one pool that I just showed you. And it's the proceeds of the endowed funds that do two things. They support 3RCF. That's how we support the work that we do. And it generates the grant dollars that we are able to distribute in the community. So a donor would choose a different type of fund depending on what their charitable goals are. So a fund for Benton and Franklin counties might be the Joe and Jane Smith fund for Benton and Franklin counties is an unrestricted fund. So that allows the 3RCF board to use that fund to meet the current greatest critical needs in our community, in our grant cycle. These are for donors who we've built a lot of trust with. They understand the work that we do and the effort and care that we put into our grant making. It's also for donors who might be a little overwhelmed with choices. And so instead of kind of navigating that themselves, they entrust us with our process to do that and help their dollars get where they can best be used. We also have donors who support an area of interest, a specific cause that's important to them, which might be animals, or it might be food insecurity. And then 3RCF gets to do matchmaking and match that fund distribution with organizations that are meeting that need. And then we have designated funds for the donor who knows exactly what they want to do, and they're setting in stone in their paperwork which organization they want their fund to support. And the opposite end of the spectrum would be donor advised funds, donors who we get to work with every year and kind of work jointly on what they want to support. And that's a great relationship that we get to have with our donors. We also love to support scholarship funds. We are wrapping up scholarship fund season right now and should be contacting students in the near future with their scholarship awards. And we also have over a dozen nonprofit agencies, so local nonprofits who choose to use 3RCF as their endowment manager. These are great partnerships that we have. We can do the administration and the legwork for your endowment fund. Hopefully get some really wonderful growth so that that endowment can support your organization for a good long time. So what does all that mean in numbers? Of course, it's an annual report, so we want to share some numbers with you. We were really pleased that our total grant impact in terms of dollars in 2023 was over 766,000, couple hundred grants, and the vast majority of those dollars stay local. When we're working with donors, we're supporting their local charities of choice, but some of those donors also do some other giving, which we're happy to support as well. Donors have a lot of wishes and we are here to help facilitate that. So for the folks who are numbers people, the three numbers below those categories add up to the 766,000. We have grants that are directed by our board. Those come from the unrestricted fund for Benton and Franklin counties, as well as area of interest funds. We have designated grants, which are those set decisions that are made in stone that we're processing every year. And then we have the more relationship-based giving, our donor advised funds, pass-through giving, and that super fun holiday giving guide we've done the last 2 years. So those gifts, yep, Janet's baby. Those donor directed grants that we're working kind of hand in hand with donors on every year. So if you ever wondered what 3RCF does outside of the grant cycle, this gives you a little bit of an idea that that work happens year round. For the grants directed by the board, we like to kind of show how that breaks down. So this is our pie chart for 2023. What's really interesting about this is it reflects the year's needs. Certainly in earlier, a few years ago, we were seeing a bigger piece of the pie for mental health. We see these kind of shift over time, either based on community needs or based on some of that area of interest giving that may be developed within our funds. But we keep a close eye on it, not so much to report back, but so that we can think about that in our grant decisions and are the dollars flowing kind of in appropriate buckets to the sectors that we want to make sure are supported. We've also shared this pretty widely. You may have seen it if you attended our celebration of philanthropy in November. These are the results of last year's grant making and the organizations that received a grant in 2023 from the annual grant cycle. We love sharing this list because it puts some new organizations in front of donors and the community. If you are, I'm going to switch to the next slide, but we do have a link to this from our website, if Janet can pop that in the chat. These annual grant recipients are always listed on our website. So if you want to get back to kind of seeing who's on here, you have access to that. If there's an organization that catches your eye, we always encourage you to do a Google and find that organization, or give our office a call or a note. We'd be happy to make an introduction. There's some really cool projects happening here in the community, and we're really just thrilled to support them. And there's a great little photo from Children's Developmental Center and a little guy working with his therapist there. So I'd love to highlight that. So when we're out talking in the community, we often get the question, because we often start by talking about the grant making, but folks pretty quickly get to the question of, well, how do you get the money for the grant making? And so the quick answer, just to summarize, is that it's like building blocks. So we take a percentage from those endowed funds. We also accept annual donations that pool over the year to add to our grant making fund. We total those up in about September, and that gives us the dollar bucket that's available for grants. So we are kind of crossing our fingers and also doing some legwork to see if we can get that number really close to or at $300,000 this year. So join us in December to see if that happens. I'm putting it out there into the universe. These are just some gifts, some pictures from organizations that we've supported. Some kids enjoying a glimpse of what the Mid-Columbia Children's Museum will offer in the future, and our friends at Grace Kitchen. I think we've got a master gardeners project going, some youth getting mentorship, and Children's Developmental Center providing those critical therapeutic services. So those are some of the types of projects that we were able to award at the Celebration of Philanthropy last November. If you've been around Three Rivers, you know that we've really exploded that event in the last 2 years, and in fact had to stop selling tickets a couple of weeks before the event last year because we were busting out the seams of our venue. So we are really looking forward to this year's event and would love for you to mark your calendars for December 3rd. We're going to switch that event to a luncheon timeframe, recognizing that it's the holiday season and people have a lot of activities going on. So hopefully it's a little easier to attend for a nice luncheon. And we are going to move that event to the convention center. So we should have plenty of room for everyone. And I am just so thrilled that we've grown to that point. It was a little vision I had when I first joined Three Rivers, and I'm super excited that in 5 years we've gotten there, and we're gonna celebrate this year's grants with so many of our donors and community partners and friends in December. So that's some of the kind of numbers and activity from the annual report. We also included some information about a few special projects or kind of new initiatives that have been happening. So our board spent a lot of time last year kind of self-reflecting and crafting this community to commitment statement, which really represents our values as an organization, our inclusivity statement, our equity statement, our values. So this is really how we live. And when we spend time together, it's what we remind ourselves in our work. So we represent the whole community and endeavor to serve everyone with fairness and compassion. We acknowledge that this includes marginalized groups in our community who need our support. We strive to be open-minded, kind, and respectful, and to avoid being unintentionally exclusive. And we continuously learn and grow to meet our community needs. Community foundations are a very long game. We're meant to be here for a very long time. And so we really wanted to acknowledge and to communicate that the community foundation of today for Three Rivers may not be the community foundation of tomorrow, because the needs of our community will change. And that's what guides our work and what we respond to. So our other new initiative is this software called Board Build. So we've long been looking for some tools and resources that we can bring to help our nonprofit community. And this was a great tool that we found. It's on-demand, self-paced learning. Available through our website, and we'll drop that in the chat, 3rcf.org/boardbuild. And this offers training for community members who've never served on a board, but feel like they have something to offer. This is for boards that maybe are new, maybe they have a great passion and idea, but they're new to board functions. It's really going to walk you through that foundation of what a board member's responsibility is and their role in the organization, the dynamics of serving on a board. It's going to give you some information about what to expect from financial reports, which is so important. How to work with the executive director, how to support the programming and activities of the organization you're supporting. Really great content. It's a handful of modules and takes, I think it took 2.5 hours for myself to go through the modules. So you can do it in a couple of sessions, and we really hope it's going to do a couple of things, help our boards be more effective and help our boards find more community members, more diverse community members to serve on their boards, and to help those folks be ready and prepared to jump in and get to work. There's a second opportunity through Board Build, which focuses on diversity, equity, and inclusion training. If that's an unfamiliar topic or a topic that your board hasn't kind of dove into, the online training for that module is going to help you all speak the same language, all understand the terminology, and start to think about how to apply those concepts to your mission and your board and your work. Really should help unlock some conversations among board members that then become really applicable and personal to the individual organization. So we understand that there's a lot for us to share from Board Build, so we're going to get into that a little bit more specifically in May. On May 22nd, we will be having another webinar. I'll remember to turn the chat on that time. So we hope you'll join us for that. You can find that link. I think we're going to pop it in the chat, and you can also find it on our Facebook page. So join us for that, and we'll spend a little time getting a little bit more into the content and sharing a little bit more about what Board Build's got to offer. Just wanted to kind of revisit that history again and how special it is to see all that's happened over 25 years, giving over 200 grants last year to 160 organizations. I think we feel really connected. I hope you feel that we're really connected. But there's always more, and we're always here to learn and listen and share. To that end, we've gotten a bit busier, so we're trying to help you as well with your busy calendars. This is a calendar we're trying to kind of keep flowing on our social channel of our upcoming activities that you can keep an eye out for this year, so you know what our calendar is. Hopefully that's helpful. Again, that's on our Facebook page, and that's a great way to keep in touch with us. And just a reminder that there is the opportunity to support that annual grant fund with direct donations that gets pooled to add to our grant making capacity every year. It's a significant part of the grant making, and it's a nice way for donors to get to know us and to feel a part of what we do, and we would greatly appreciate it. So I think that is the gist of the annual report and what we wanted to share. So I'm gonna see if I can reverse that and see if we have any questions or any chatter or anything we wanna, anything you want me to talk more about. I can talk about the numbers all day. Candace is here, Blanche is here, Mike Miller is here. These are a few of our board members. We're so thankful to have you here. Thank you, Candace. Randy, I'm gonna have to send that message back to you. You spelled my name wrong. We're just really excited to do what we do. We always, a great idea I want to give Janet credit for is on the back of our annual report. It says, if you want to come in and chat with us and have a cup of coffee, please give us a call. So we'll have, Ricky, yes, the annual report is available on our website. If you would like some hard copies, we have plenty here in the office. I believe I have your address. We could mail some to you if that would be helpful. Anyway, love to chat with community members. We are often able to help make connections. And it also helps us just learn about charitable giving and philanthropy and what's important to folks. So that's helpful as well. If a board, Cynthia, we are looking at an opportunity to get some underwriting or scholarship type funding for the board build training. There is a cost associated with the board build. It's $200 per person per module. We're working on that. It's probably not something we'll have a lot of information out until maybe the end of the summer or the fall. Thanks, Todd. Hope things are going well over at Forge. Yeah, we were really happy to do this. Just we figured we had this content and maybe folks were interested in it. I could talk about the annual report all day. We also are working on some new things. We had a strategic planning process earlier this year. We might make some tweaks to our grant funding. We're not trying to drastically change who we are, but just might try and refine things a little bit. We don't know scariness about it, but just we can always be more effective and impactful and find ways to do that. So more information about that to come in the webinars this summer, probably. The dinner brings together many. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, it's been so fun to see the celebration of philanthropy grow. How just people come out of the woodwork to want to attend last year. So we're going to make that work for everybody and maybe find ways to like make more connections in that room. There's so many wonderful people there. We'll get creative. Gosh, we got it in under a half hour too. I'm so glad we didn't want to take too much of everybody's time. I think we will probably wrap it up there. I think everybody knows how to reach us. If not, hit up the website. Just thanks for your time today. Ricky, I'll get a couple annual reports in the mail to you. Thanks for joining us. Keep doing the wonderful things that you do and supporting, and just have a great day. Thank you.